What's up, Porsche fanatics? Will here with Rennthusiast.com. Yes, there is now a website, and I would like to welcome you to my latest Porsche 993 video. If you've been around the channel for any length of time, then you know I have a 95 993 Polar Silver Coupe that I love. In fact, the car is the best car I've ever owned. However, I have felt like my 993 was lacking something, just really in terms of visual excitement for me. So I have decided to embark on a slippery slope journey to modify the car and really make it what I want. So I've done several videos over the past few weeks cataloging this journey, and the purpose of today's video is to let you in on the decisions I have firmly locked in on relative to this 993 build. So there are 14 total things that I'm doing to the car. In this video, I'm only gonna share 7 with you. I'll be doing a part 2 to this video, sharing the second set of 7 decisions. I'll publish that next week. So if you want to be notified when that video comes out, please subscribe to the channel, and that way you'll be sure to be told when I publish a part 2. Along those lines, I'm currently sitting at 5,700 subscribers, and my next goal for the channel is 10,000. And in order to speed that up, I am running a little bit of a giveaway where I will be giving away 5 $100 Pelican Parts gift cards when I hit 10,000 subscribers. If you'd like to enter that contest and win your chance at a $100 Pelican Parts gift card, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel and then go to rennthusiast.com/contest to find out how to enter. Okay, I think to kind of set the stage in your mind as to what the goal of this project is, I wanted to give my 993 a more aggressive vibe, a more performance-focused vibe, and I also wanted to make it a little more visually mine. So, some of these things I think are congruent with kind of classic Porsche thought processes and heritage, and some of them, quite frankly, are things that I just wanted to do to the car to make it mine. I have gotten some feedback in the comments on previous videos of, hey, you're devaluing the car. Yeah, maybe. Am I ever gonna see all this money back? Probably not. But the point is I should walk away with a 993 that I love, 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 and one that is mine. So if you are in agreement with me that we need to make these cars what we want, let me get an amen, tell me in the comments. That's kind of the overall vision for the car. Let me now tell you about the mods. Mod number 1, 993 turbo bumper swap with US bumperette delete. So about a year ago, I bought a used 993 turbo bumper. This is a US spec turbo bumper. When it arrived, it was as described, and it did have some cracks in the lower section where it meets the under tray under the car. Presumably it was curbed, but that needed to be plastic welded. So I figured while we were at that, why not go ahead and fill in the US bumperette cutouts. So at the end of the day, I should have a 993 turbo bumper Euro spec. I picked up some turbo scoops on eBay. Usually I shy away from eBay car parts only because fitment is questionable, but I have a buddy who bought these same scoops for his 993 when he was doing the same project on his bumper, and he said the fitment was good. So I bought those on eBay, and as I recall, I sourced the corner lights from a guy on Renlist. So there you have it. I think it's gonna make a big impact, and I've always loved how that turbo bumper looks, so really excited about that. The second mod I'm gonna be making to my 993, 996 hardback sport seats. So I knew ever since I kind of started thinking about this project that I wanted to attack the seats. I have always wanted tartan centers, and so I figured, okay, this is when I'm gonna do it. The original thought process was to simply refurbish my existing factory seats and replace the centers with a tartan of my choice. As I started to evaluate this and as I started to kind of dial in my thinking on it, I realized that my seats that were in my 993 that came with it are simply too nice. They're in superb condition. I don't feel good about tearing them apart. So that was a nice, handy excuse to start to do some seat shopping. And I like Recaros. I have seen guys running them, they look really cool, so that's kind of the path I was going down until I've tripped over some 996 hardback sports seats on eBay for a very reasonable price. I ended up picking up the seats for $2,400. They're a little bit dinged up, but for me, it's a driver quality car. I don't need the hardbacks to be perfect, and I'm gonna refurbish the whole things anyway, so I went ahead and picked them up. I was lucky enough to have One of my friends, who's an air-cooled guy also, he lives close by the cellar down in Florida. He was able to go put eyes on the seats and was kind enough to pick them up and ship them up to Charlotte, where the car currently sits at Sunderworks, the shop who's doing the work. Bottom line is, I have elected to go with these hardback sports seats. I think they're comfortable. I love that they're factory. And the two pieces that I'm doing to them, really three, we're gonna replace all the leather with new leather. I have selected the tartan that I'm gonna be using with, for the seats. And the third kind of decision I'm still not totally sure of is whether, I should say this, I'm gonna do contrast stitching, I just don't know what color. So I'm thinking that I want to go with the blue to match the tartan, but it was suggested to me maybe taking a look at white thread for the contrast stitching. So would love to hear what you would do. Do you think white's a terrible idea on these seats? Should I go with blue? Should I go with black? What would you do? So let me know in the comments. I'm leaning towards blue, so would love to hear it. The third mod I'm going to be making to my 993 is a Pfister Stage 3 Sport exhaust. So I have experience with FD Motorsports parts. I have been running a Stage 2 ever since I bought the car. And I have shared this in previous videos, but the Stage 2 Pfister Sport exhaust is the best exhaust note I've ever been able to get out of any car that I've ever owned. It crackles and pops, and it just sounds mean without being obnoxious. There's no drone. So with the intent of this car to be even more aggressive than it has been, I figured it was a no-brainer to upgrade to the Stage 3. I've heard the Stage 3, a good friend of mine runs it on his 993, so I've had the pleasure of following him when he's got it wide open. I have actually driven by him as we were both rolling through a long tunnel, so I was able to hear the exhaust in that environment, and it's badass. Another point I'll make about this Stage 2 to Stage 3 conversion is that FD Motorsports gave me a hefty, a nice core exchange value on my Stage 2. So when I send that back to them, it's gonna wash out most of the spend on the Stage 3. So that's very cool. The third mod I'm making to my 993 is one that I've gotten some mixed reviews on in the comments of previous videos, and that's a DAS bolt-in roll bar. So admittedly, like, there's some pluses and minuses here. So as I shared with you, I'm looking for more of a performance aggressive vibe to the car. I think a roll bar really does that for me. But the negative there is it's not necessarily reducing weight, it's adding weight. So I think that roll bar weighs like 60 pounds. But I have decided, hey, that's okay, I'll add the weight because I like how it looks, and I am hoping for some increased rigidity as a result of putting it in the back. Okay, so the fifth mod I'm doing to my Porsche 993 is a carpet swap. So I have had the black, expected, predictable carpet removed from my 993. I'll show you some footage of what that looks like. As an aside, the carpet removal, and I was warned about this by a viewer, the carpet removal process in the 993 is the worst out of any air-cooled 911s. For whatever reason, Porsche used a ton of glue. So the poor guy who's been doing that work, he said it's been a tedious process to remove the carpet, but it's out, and now I'm going to be replacing it with charcoal gray German square weave carpet. So I'm really excited about that. When I was down at Sunderworks last week, I've been going down there weekly for two reasons. Number one, I need to visit my car. But number two, I've been getting content for you guys. When I was down there last week, the carpet actually arrived. So I was able to open that up. Dave said, hey, here's a razor, don't cut your carpet, but go ahead and open it. And I did, and when I opened it, I'm saying, oh man, this isn't my carpet, it's blue. But then I looked inside of the blue carpet roll and found my charcoal.
So gray?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, that's good, that's a relief.
Hey, that's a relief. That would have been awkward. It looks good. I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to transform the interior. The sixth mod I'm making to my 993 is a 993 RS steering wheel. So this will be the third steering wheel that I have put on this car since owning it, or since buying it. When I got it, it came with the period correct factory 4-spoke wheel. I mean, that's a fine wheel. A lot of guys run it because they're purists and that's what they want in their cars. It's really not for me. I swapped out for a Porsche, I believe it's a Boxster 3-spoke wheel. It wasn't the really nice, dressy 996 version. So as I started to consider what steering wheel I wanted to swap out for the 3-spoke, the first thing that came to mind was a Momo Mod 07 or Mod 7. I'm running a prototipo in this car and I really like it a lot, so I figured, hey, why not put a little bit more of a modern Momo in my 993. But one night I was just perusing, classified sections of Porsche part websites, and as I'm sure you might do too, and I tripped over this 993 RS wheel, super immaculate condition. So I was able to strike a deal with the seller. I bought it, it arrived. Candidly, when I bought it, I was like, this will be unique and it's what I want to do, but I'm not sure I'm gonna love it. The wheel is now in the car and I can say this, I love it. It is, I think it's I'll have the same kind of ergonomic experience that I had with that 3-spoke, and it just looks badass and it's a little bit different, so excited about that. Okay, the 7th mod I'm going to be making to my Porsche 993 is a rear seat delete. A couple reasons for doing this one. Number one, with the roll bar in the back, I really don't need rear seats. So to me, it's a no-brainer. I've always liked how a rear seat delete looks in an air-cooled Porsche 911. It adds that kind of performance intent vibe to the car. I think that, the driving factor there is weight reduction. And so, why not do it? And finally, even beyond the roll bar, like I never have anybody in the car with me. And so I really don't need the seats in the back. So bottom line is I'm doing a rear seat delete. I'm excited to see how that charcoal gray carpet shows up without having, the seat backs on it. So pretty excited about that. Okay, so there you have it, the first 7 mods I'll be making to my Porsche 993. If you are interested in hearing about the next 7 final mods I'll be making to the car, please subscribe. I'll publish that video in a week. So be sure to keep your eyes peeled for that. If you stuck with me this far, I'd like to thank you for watching this video. Don't forget about rennthusiast.com/contest, and I hope to see you next time.